Welcome to this week's episode of Expandabilities Meets, the podcast where mindset, resilience, and real conversations help shape complete athletes. I'm Alex.
And Robert,
Each episode, we dive into the mental side of athletic performance, the stories behind the struggles, and the habits that help athletes grow on and off the field. Thanks for being here. Let's expand our abilities together now. So, Robert, let's get into it. Uh, we are going to talk about something that is big with when you're in the athletic scene, when
yeah,
you're actively competing, and that's pressure. So tell me, you're in the midst of wrestling season. My wrestling season's over. Super short season, only six or 7 weeks,
yeah,
and you have the next couple months. But I know we talked about doing pressure for the topic of this episode because wrestling is one of those sports where pressure really is key, especially since a match can change in a matter of seconds.
yeah.
So, what have you seen? I know you just had a big tournament yesterday. So, what have you seen in relation to pressure in that environment?
Sure. So even last night, yesterday at our tournament, my heavyweight first year wrestler, um, this is his second match. Well, this was his second match. Going into the third period, it's 1-0. He's behind 1-0.
You told him to circle the mat, circle the mat.
Well, he's behind right now.
Oh yeah, yeah,
So,
yeah. All right, now
so he's
not
behind right
circle, not
now.
don't circle yet. You need a takedown. Takedown wins
Yeah,
it.
sure. He gets choice, so he chooses top, which he's a big guy, and so right now he flattens the guy out, and now he's just working the turn. He's working to turn the guy. He's working to turn the guy. He just can't turn this guy, and it's not because he can't. It's because he really hasn't understood. Hey, to get a half, I gotta get under the arm. Get that power half, grab my wrist, and he'll grab it. But then he was looking over at the side from each side.
Yeah.
Okay, I gotta turn this guy, and we are, we're dominating the match, but for him, he's trying to get that first win. Now he's sweating. He's like, hey, I don't know what to do. He's like, what to do.
Didn't know where to put his arms.
Didn't know anything. Just like
He
everything,
couldn't
just
get the escape.
everything would blank. No, he
Okay.
would be. He would have got turned probably. If he would.
See, and
He
that's the
would.
thing. Like I saw that even with my heavyweights is you can't put them on bottom, which typically for other weight classes, you can put them on bottom because you want to
Right.
get your free point, right?
Yeah.
Or you, at least you hope it's a free point. Or at least work to get it. But with those guys, it's like, all right, the minute you get them flat on their belly, then they're just gonna get turned and then it's match is
Yeah.
over just like that within 20 seconds.
Yeah. To close it out, clearly he didn't. He wasn't able to turn him, and he in the match he lost 1-0. And he came off the mat. He said, "Coach, I just this pressure was just so big. I didn't know what to do. And I was just like my mind just went blank." I say, don't be concerned about it. We'll work on that pressure, getting those mental reps in, so you don't have to worry about that pressure when that time happens again because it
So he
won't
just
happen.
lost by points.
It's lost my point.
Hey, that's not bad. I mean, it's not 6 points to the other team, so that's
It's like,
beneficial. Um, I've seen that too, a lot in wrestling. It's almost like what you said, your mind just goes completely blank in the moment where it's like, hey, like they know what to do.
yeah,
And you knew, like, did he know what he was doing prior?
of course he did.
Because you're the coach?
Of
Yeah.
course.
Okay. So I saw that a lot too. It's just, and then you see just kind of arms flailing like you just like that's just their way of showing I don't know what to do.
I
I
don't know
had
what to
I
do.
I had it where a wrestler looked at me in the corner and was like, I don't know what to do. And it's like you're actively in a match. It's just like, what do I do? What do I do? And it's the same thing even when when a period ends and they want to know like, do I go neutral? Do I go on bottom? Um, and then they just really start questioning themselves, their abilities, what they can accomplish.
Yeah.
And
And of course, that when they're not when they go blank, it affects their performance.
It does.
So yeah,
Where eventually you end up losing because you just get in your own head. Let's talk about that. That's awesome. I love this. Great segue. Getting in your head. Okay. Still focus on the same topic, pressure, because
sure.
pressure relates to just overthinking. It
Yeah,
relates to um, dealing with high stress environments, right?
yeah,
And it's fair to say when you're in a match, when you're in a game, it is a high stress environment, especially if it's something like 1-0. I think that's a great philosophy to live by. Kind of live by, hey, you're down 1-0. What are you going to do to win the match?
yeah. Especially in wrestling now, if you get a near fall, it's 4 points. It's no longer 3 points. You can get that near fall. Guess what? Match is over.
It's a quick 4 points too.
Yeah, match is over. You can just stall. Hate to say it, but you can stall the rest of the way out. You really not to do anything.
Yeah. I mean, he could just let him up and just circle the mat, right? I mean,
Yeah,
it really comes down to that where it's like maybe it's not the best decision, but
he
you got
doesn't
to
have to worry
think,
about reversal.
well, yeah, and you just got to think, and especially with wrestling, it just goes so fast where I've seen matches. I mean, look at an overtime, for example. You're given about a minute and first to get a takedown, and then it's just done. That's it.
Yeah,
That's just rolling through your head like, oh, I can't let this happen. I can't let this happen. And then the minute that you keep thinking that, it's gonna happen. So, and then you really let the pressure get to you, especially when on the wrestling mat, and then you have experiences where, like what we had when we coached wrestling together, when some of these kids just go storming off the mat, screaming. I had a kid who lost to the same kid 3 times this year. The same kid. Those were his only losses. Same guy 3 times. And the last time he got put in a spladle. And that's what he was upset about. He was like, I got put in a spladle. Like it's embarrassing.
I was
Uh
going to say that. It is
yeah.
embarrassing.
And he's a good wrestler too. And that's what he was upset about. So he stormed off, threw his headgear at the wall. And I think this was the conference match too. So of course he's thinking, I can't lose to him for a third time. Like this has to be I have to be done. Like the pressure's on.
Yeah,
And it's like, no, none of his family or anyone was really giving him grief about it. It was more so himself, giving himself a problem because of it.
yeah,
And I just felt like in that situation, he went into it like I'm gonna lose. I lost him twice. There's no way I'm gonna win. Or he's overconfident and thinking, hey, I will win this one. But in both scenarios, they both end the
and
same
well,
way. Yeah, they don't end well. And so I don't know. You've experienced
yeah,
that with your athletes,
but
obviously, with all the years you've coached.
yeah, of
That is
course. I
not that is
mean,
not an old joke, I promise.
I wasn't worried about that. So I feel like the real challenge, the real danger could be when they don't want to talk about that pressure. They don't want to talk about, hey, coach, you know, I've lost to this guy 3 times. I missed this field goal, you know, whenever it's the fourth quarter and 2 minutes to go, or that tennis match you're down, whatever love, you know, what do I do in those moments? And that's when you just tell them, and at least I tell my wrestlers, hey, just go back to the basics and let that carry you through.
Let's
I
bring it
mean,
back. You ready for this one? I was thinking about this when you said the missed field goal, right? Let's talk about that. Um, so the first thing that comes to my mind was when Ohio State lost 42 to 41 against Georgia in I believe 2021, right? 2021, 2022, one or the other.
yeah,
Um, yeah. Remember that when
it,
it was a shanked field goal and they could have won it?
yeah, that's the year that Michigan lost to TCU. That same year.
They didn't just lose, Rob.
I'm just saying.
That was an emotional loss. But hey, at least we made it to the playoff. That's okay.
Yeah, it was the same that same playoff.
Not really. It was the same playoff, but the pressure was mainly with Ohio State
Ohio
since
State was
you lost by
with
one. If you're Michigan, you lose by 40 or whatever it was. And it's just like, oh well, this isn't good. Um, but another one is, the Bears just won their first playoff game yesterday. Congratulations to them. It's been the first playoff win in how long has it been? 10 years, 15 years, something like that.
Yeah.
Um, they beat the Packers. It was back and forth game. They did their typical comeback in the fourth quarter type of thing yesterday, and they ended up winning 31-27, I believe. And it makes me think of when Matt Nagy was the head coach there. Remember where it was his first year? They won 11 games, very, very similar way of starting as Ben Johnson did this year, right? You
Yeah.
win 11 games, you get a playoff game at home. When Matt Nagy was the head coach, remember they played the Eagles and they lost. That was the double doink year. And
Yep.
I remember I was at my buddy Brandon's house and I was like, hey, he's gonna miss this. So I knew he was gonna miss it because Cody Parkey had so many double doinks that year,
I was going to say that
or so many
he was doing that all season long.
or so many just doinks in general. Exactly. So I'm like, what are the odds he doinks this field goal in the playoff game to win it? And my buddy Brandon's like, no, he's not gonna do that. And I'm like, okay, sure. And he ends up double doinking, and it's the like it was a memorable time in Bears history. Uh, unfortunately, he got death threats, and had and pretty much got chased out of Chicago. And I mean, he had a little bit of a career, but not anything that long. But I just remember think about the pressure, right? Think about the pressure of the building up to, hey, I have the chance to win this game.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like Illinois State. Illinois State, their field goal unit this past week in the national championship lost 35-34, missed an extra point, missed a field goal. It was a struggle.
Comes back and
And
bite you.
what?
Comes back and bite you.
Yeah, if you miss multiple field goals, I mean, you can bring it back again to the Detroit Lions 2 years ago when they faced the 49ers, right? Dan Campbell went for it, or sorry, Dan Gamble went for it on fourth down many times, did not kick a field goal. They ended up losing the game, in which if you would have kicked field goals, you would have won. So you think of the pressure, and you think of pressure, especially in relation to decisions and decision making. You see that all the time in sports, especially from coaches.
Mhm.
So,
Sure.
I mean, wrestling, not necessarily from coaches, because I don't know about you, but my wrestlers cannot hear my voice when they're on the mat. They can't hear anything. So even in football, you got to think that the coach's decision making is different per sport, and just the way that you can express those decisions and verbalize what you're thinking,
Yeah.
it's a lot different.
Yeah. I
So
mean,
like,
definitely, it's definitely different. And wrestlers and football players can't hear you when they're on the field.
no.
Not at all.
Or they just look to you in the corner as like, I don't know what to do. It's like this other kid I had. He was like, I'm so tired. And he's actively wrestling. We're like in the second period. I'm just like, you're telling me that you're tired means that we got to do some 22s tomorrow.
For sure, that happened to one guy yesterday, my 90 pounder. He's just, I mean, he won the match, but he was so exhausted. And after the match, I'm waiting for his parents to get there. And I said, dude, man, you look so tired out there. He said, yeah, coach, I just don't know what's going on. I said, I'll tell you what was going on. This is you jacking around in practice, and you're not busting your butt. So then when it's time to really nitty gritty time, pressure time, um, it shows that you're exhausted. But guess what? He handled the pressure well. He was he
Now
just
you're at
had
22s.
he circled the last 23 seconds. He literally circled, stayed away from the guy.
And he got a stalling call.
Or he already had one, so I mean he didn't care. He was up by 4. He just he just didn't want to get taken down.
I don't blame him. Because you said the near fall is up to 4 points.
Yeah,
Takedowns are also 3 points. So they're trying to make matches go a lot faster. I know that was
yeah,
the whole point of it. Um, Even though it's funny because the way they scored matches were the same for so long, and then suddenly they just change it. So it came kind of as a shock.
makes
Um,
some sense.
so they deal with that pressure. Then how do you practice that? How do you practice dealing with the pressure? Because I've noticed that in a practice environment, it's so much different because you want really hard. And I try to do this when I do wrestle offs, for example, or for football when I do Saturday scrimmages. I try to keep it regular, like a routine base where it's like,
Mhm.
hey, they know what to expect. They know what to expect. And but also I try to recreate this competitive atmosphere that they can learn in, but also, I mean, you see all the time with scenario-based wrestling, like you do it all the time. Eight
Yeah,
seconds. Hey, one person's going to shoot a double, the other one is going to sprawl, and then boom, it's live from there,
yeah,
quick. In football, it's 2 minute situation, right? There's all these different things in sports where it's scenario based because the goal is always to build your mind to understand the pressure, right?
yeah,
Understand the pressure. I mean, think of a 2 minute situation, for example. You see it all the time,
yeah.
right?
What I do with the wrestling in practice, I really try to stress them to the limit. They don't know, like if we're they're doing the they're doing a segment, and a kid asks me a question in the middle of the segment. Oh, stop! Go to the stairs. Have him do the stairs. Or
End of the
come back
mat.
there, into the mat. Go to the stairs, whatever it may be. So they never know like what's going to what's going to trigger coach. And it could be anything. One time practice was going great, and the kid just say, "Hey, coach, it's we have to. It's the other guy," and that's it. Go to the stairs. Go to the stairs. And one of the other assistants say, "Man, what triggers you?" I said, "Man, I just had to figure out something that was going to piss me off." And the kid said something. So that was it.
And then you could keep your white clothes in a bag in your by your keys, and then you just threaten it. Be like, "Hey guys, you pissed me off. The white sweat top's coming out."
Well, it's funny you said that. One girl said, "Coach, I don't even know if it's the white or the black. I never know because you just pissed off too much, so easy now. So it could be anything."
Be like, well, when I get older, it just tends to happen. Hey, I remember you were telling kids that you're going to be coaching wrestling even when you're in a walker.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but now yeah, I'm getting close to it.
yeah, that and diapers, right?
No diapers. No diapers.
That'll be part of that'll be if they really piss you off. Be like, all right, I need to go to the bathroom.
Oh, I did that. I did that the other day. I gotta go to the bathroom. Darn it! Go to the stairs.
Go to the stairs.
That's
You can be done when I get back.
right.
uh, I mean, I know you probably still do all the bear crawls, don't you?
Yeah, not as much. I mean, right now, because my team is so young, I'm doing a lot more live since the turn of the year.
Did I tell you what I did for football?
That
So I have the system put in place for football called OPI. And OPI is opportunity for personal improvement. So opportunity for personal improvement is pretty much a disciplinary based program where if you are late to practice, because they know these rules and expectations, there's no reason they should be late. There's no reason they should be forgetting equipment, et cetera, right? They know what's put in place. They have all that information at the beginning of the year on a piece of paper. Um, they know the expectations. So if they go against any of those expectations, they will face disciplinary action in the form of OPI. And OPI is typically it's hell. It's conditioning, but it's hell. And it's always funny because even the coaches don't want to run it because it feels terrible. And when I say like it's bad, like I had some kids that were in detention. So I'm like, all right, they're not getting out of this willy-nilly, right?
Mhm.
They're gonna pay the price. And so the way they paid the price, some days I had them bear crawl 100 yards the full length of the field. The worst one I did was I had them do the paralyzed dog walk
Mhm.
halfway through down the field, so 50 yards. Like where their arms are dragging their legs
Right.
just they're not functioning, right? That's the goal. And so when they got to the 50, initially we were going to go 100 yards, but when they got to the 50-yard line, they just laid there for 5 minutes. They're like, I'm never getting in trouble again. I'm
Yeah.
like, guys, that's the point of this. Like, that's why we do this. The program
Sure.
works. It's in place. And what's cool is that even teachers are like, hey, these kids are more well behaved and better in season than any other time we've had them. And I
Mhm.
said, I always say it's because our program works. because we can't just let them off easy. They gotta,
Right.
they gotta be disciplined.
Right. And although, when I'm talking and, coaching, it may sound like I'm frantic the whole time, but no, I'm a fairly calm coach, fairly calm individual.
I don't,
Individual.
I don't know. I've seen you send kids home right when starting practice.
Of course,
Go
but I'm not frantic.
home, go home. I don't want you here.
And that creates a safe, those students that understand, yeah, they know what to expect. So I mean they're calm, they know I'm calm, so they're able to perform. However, they know, okay, I don't get pissed off because of their performance or of their know what they can do or what they can't do. That's stupid to be upset about that. It's just I try to create a, hey, what are the expectations? I want to live up to these expectations. Win or lose, you can't control that. Because somebody may step on the mat better than you, but
Well, this all kind of ties into
work
what we
habit, work habit.
this all stands in this all stands for what we go for at Expandabilities, right? Is train the mind and elevate the game. And training the mind doesn't always mean, hey, we have to understand depression and anxiety. It's mainly training the mind to understand what can happen in these competitive environments. Like I can go into a wrestling match and be like, I'm not going to be down 1-0. I'm not going to be tied 0-0. I saw that last week at the was it last week? 2 weeks ago at that tournament I went to in Michigan. They were tied 0-0 for the entire match. Takedown one. And, guy shoots, other guy whizzes hard, and it's like, okay, anything can happen. And that's what keeps you on your toes, right? Even as a spectator, you feel the pressure. But in the moment, that's what we train for. I mean, that's what you train for. In reality, there's a minimal part of that that's actually physical. All of it's mental,
That's right.
right?
That's
And it's
right.
just like when you train for these moments, sure, you can get the technique down and then you know what to do in these situations. Again, that's why we do that in practice.
Yeah.
But it's more so when you're down 1-0, are you going to give up or are you going to try to win? Or are you going to try or you get the thing is, and I love Curt Signetti's from philosophy from Indiana. Give your best effort 100% of the time from the first whistle to the final whistle. And that means you're giving forth your best effort, man. Production over potential. It's so cool where it's like, hey, show me what you can do and what you will do, not about what you might do. You know what I mean? And so I feel like that correlates to every sport.
Yeah, it
So
does. It does. And that's one way. Curt Signetti. That's one way of looking at it. Things are just happening to fall, you know, in his wheelhouse. However, there was a time when it didn't fall for him. And he probably still had that same philosophy.
he did. And I think
That's
that's what makes him successful is because he believes in the player, their ability, what they can accomplish and will accomplish. And that's kind of what every coach should do is like, hey, you should focus on what you're given. Focus on what you have, not about what you can have. Focus on what you
how
currently
much you
have
want.
and how much you want it. It's a mindset.
Yep.
And that's the thing. And I mean, like here, our football programs here from youth all the way to varsity, we did not do too hot this past year. 2 games, one across the board for each level. Not great. But it's honestly, again, it's a mindset game where it's like when you're down, they just give up. Where it's like if you train your mind to focus on winning the game and putting up the most points and doing the best possible job you can in the given time frame, you're going to succeed, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Most definitely. Most definitely. So, what do you feel is the next step for young people?
For what?
So, what do you feel is the next step for young people to be able to handle that pressure? I mean, you spoke a little bit on it.
Well, I think the way to handle the pressure is understanding what can happen in these moments. You know, like, hey, you might not win every match. You might not win every game. That's okay. But what matters is, are you giving forth your best effort? Are you doing the best that you physically and mentally can in order to better yourself? And are you
That's right.
satisfied? I mean, that's kind of an interesting question. Are you satisfied? Because I like to believe that you should never be satisfied. You should always want to better yourself and your abilities and all that. But is there something worth working for? Or are you just going to give up? I mean, I feel like we live in a
Yeah. I
society
mean,
nowadays where people
and
just
then,
want to give up.
you're right. I mean, a lot of people they give up, soon they give up too easily, especially, I've seen not just my team, just across the board. Russell's down so many points, and they're rather bottom or top, and they just can't do anything. They just give up instead of trying to think through, strategize, think through it in the moment. So if we can start to work on with the students, wrestlers, athletes, thinking them through those moments, as you talked about earlier. I mean, so those high pressure uh, events won't take them out of the game.
Oh my gosh. Nothing irritates me more than when a wrestler's losing, they're getting turned, and then they just practically turn themselves.
Yeah,
And then get a load of this. When someone loses within 10 seconds of a period ending,
yeah,
they get pinned.
yeah.
There was a
That
guy. Oh,
that's the worst.
oh my gosh, there was a guy this year. He lost with 1 second left. 1 second. It was the first period. I'm like, dude, 1 second in the first period. I went old fashioned Robert Harris style, just sat back, crossed my arms. I'm like, he quit.
Yeah,
He gave
nothing you
up.
can do about it.
I'm like, if you give up, man, like, I'm not going to talk to you. Like, go figure it out, man. Because
Yeah,
this is not what we practice. This is not what we drill. You got to learn to go from the start to the end. I don't care if you lose the match at the end of the day. What I care about is, did
effort,
you do the best you can? Effort. Rip the tape, Rob.
effort, man, effort and attitude. Two things that people control.
Perseverance. Are you persevering when times get hard? Think about the life game, the game of life that is in sports. Are you doing the best you can? Connect it to
So,
school. Are you doing the best you can?
so you
Par-
think some of it has to do with some of their support system?
Yeah, it
What do you think?
absolutely has to
Some
deal
of it
with some
has
support
to do
system.
with their support system.
Well, I think sometimes they're not being pushed hard enough.
To what degree?
What, that they're not being pushed hard enough? I feel
Oh yeah,
like
you're right.
I
They're not
feel
being pushed hard enough.
no, I feel like we're accepting, a minimalist attitude where it's like, hey, do the bare minimum and you're good. But no, you don't do the bare minimum. You do the bare minimum. How are you contributing to your team? Because if you're doing the bare minimum, that means your
Right.
partner who you're drilling with is going to do the bare minimum. And that's just a constant domino effect.
I say I say that a lot. I say that a lot, especially to my supposedly captains. I tell them, guys, if they see you dogging it out, they're going to dog it. If they see you pushing yourselves, hey, maybe they may not push themselves as hard, but at least they will try. They were trying to meet that level that you're doing.
You're right. They follow your lead. That's why you're a leader, a captain. So you could choose to either lead in a positive manner or you could lead in a negative manner and then see what happens. The results follow. The results can be whatever you want them to be.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I would love to get someone on here that could talk about pressure in the moment, something that in the bit that actually happened to them. That would
I,
be
I think it'd be
that'd be
great.
interesting.
Well, that brings us to this time. Time flies by when you're having fun, Rob. Um, we welcome that opportunity for anyone interested in joining an Expandabilities Meets episode and sharing their story, talking about either some of the topics that we've discussed in the past or a brand new topic. This is an evolving podcast where we focus on real situations, real challenges, in real environments. These are the conversations that are hard to have sometimes, but that's what we're here for. We want to make sure that, hopefully we could serve as some type of help, but also in purpose, but also serve a purpose as well, um, to give you something to stand on. Have these hard conversations, have these conversations that make you think. Because you tell me, Rob, what's our purpose?
Now that hey, our purpose is to expand our abilities, man.
Man, look at
Whether it's
that.
mentally or physically,
We didn't even
let's
practice
expand our
that.
abilities.
We didn't even practice that. But no, it's true. We want to do the best. We want to be the best resource for everyone. And we talk about everything relating to mental health, pressures, and different types of neurological challenges that people may face in these environments. Because ultimately, our goal is we want to increase participation in athletics. We believe it is such a vital tool in development, and especially in young minds, and it could really shape young minds into something that is great, which we've seen. There's evidence on this, and this is our part of doing it. So we want you guys to tune in. We want you guys to subscribe. We want you guys to be a part of this movement and this brand that we are trying to grow here, because that's what this is. That's what Expandabilities
Mhm.
is. That's what this podcast uh serves us for. This is a serving
Exactly.
podcast.
Most definitely.
So with that
Most
being
definitely.
said, this has been Expandabilities Meets, the podcast where mindset, resilience, and real conversations help shape the complete athlete. I'm Alex.
I'm Rob.
It has been a pleasure, Rob. Happy New Year to you.
Take it easy.
And we hope to see you guys next time on Expandabilities Meets. Thank you. Peace.
Peace.